Hey everyone, Retire on Dividends here. I wanted to make another update to the monthly series of the Dividend Car. What is the Dividend Car series? What are we talking about? Well, long story short is we needed a new car, and I was going to take the money out of our brokerage account, and then I decided to actually close out my wife's 401k account because she was no longer with the company, pay the penalty, and then pay off the car. But then I decided from that point, I'm like, you know what? Instead of taking all of that money, which at that point was around maybe 20,000, and paying off the car, why not use this money and invest it? Because the interest rate on the car, which is, I think I have it here, 8.74%. That's that I could double at least, right? I could triple, I could quadruple with the high yield, ETFs. So I figured, okay, instead of paying off the car, why don't I open up a brokerage account where I have the brokerage account pay off the car? And that was the plan. I started that in September of 2024, as you can see. And a lot of things have changed since then. Mainly of which is I added other bills. So I used Fidelity for this account, and I opened a regular brokerage account, individual taxable brokerage account, and it's pretty. No complaints about Fidelity. Their bill pay setup was pretty easy and everything. So to get this dividend car account going, it was actually pretty smooth. So let me show you real quick on the bills tab. So what I'm talking about, because I added a few things. Obviously, the bills tab to show you what actual what payments am I scheduling out of this account. Because as most of you know, I have the Retire Now account. That's basically my active account where I trade options and I do other things, and that's the account that pays the mortgage. This is the account that I plan on paying everything else. Our mortgage is around 1,300 or so. These bills, as you could see, in January they totaled almost that. They total 1137. The account balances between the two, the dividend car and the Retire Now account, are close, similar. This one's a little less. I'm performing a little better on the Retire Now account because I am active on that. However, whatever. This one's set it and forget it. So as you can see, the car payment is $400 a month. Our gas bill was $253 this month. Internet and phone, cell phone that is, of course. Nobody uses a house phone. $222. I pay for my parents' internet in one of their houses, $34.99, and then our electric bill was $226. I'm not going to add any other bills to this because the only other bills are basically property tax, which that comes quarterly. I don't even know how to automate that. I'm not sure if I want to automate that. In fact, I'm paying that this week, and that's a massive bill, right? It's around I think it's $1,800 now every quarter, which is completely ridiculous just to live in your freaking house, right? $1,800, like come on. Sometimes it's $2,000 a quarter, like come on, man. It's just out of hand. So anyway, that's a quarterly bill, and I just pay that out of my checking account because I'm still working. And then other bills that are quarterly are the water bill, water and sewer. So that's not on here. Also, car insurance, I was going to add on here. However, I decided, going forward, I'm just going to pay off the car insurance at once, right? So every 6 months when I renew, I'm just going to pay it in full and avoid the installment fee. So that being said, these are the bills that are going to stay here going forward. So obviously I'll track to see what they come to each month. The car payment's not going to change. The internet and phone bills probably not going to change much. The gas and electric bill, that will change. Obviously January was kind of a rough month for both. Typically, in the winter you'd have a relaxing electric bill and higher gas bill, but the electric bill was not nice to us in January either. So whatever, it is what it is. So our bills came to $1,137 this month. So I'm going to go through across the line. So obviously, like I said, we started this in September. So I'm going to go across columns, and I'll show you, maybe just January's to avoid confusion of the other numbers. So weeklies, monthly income. What does that mean? Well, I invest in mostly weekly payers. All right. Now, the latest distribution column like this, it's not accurate anymore. So you can kind of ignore that. So I should actually delete that because it doesn't really matter. Because I'm not going to maintain it. There you go. It's gone. Now, all right. Now we can focus here. So these are the weekly pairs I own. I own XDTE, RDTE, QDTE, QQQY, WDTE, IWMY, YMAG, YMAX, YBTC, and newest members LFGY and GPTY. Now, currently I am not equally allocated, but I would like to be. And obviously that would involve buying more of the newer stocks and less. Why is this not work? Yeah, I guess the GPTY is still not showing a price. But right now, yeah, I'm heavy on Round Hill. Mainly because, to be honest, they're better performers, capital appreciation wise, than Defiance. Defiance, they're on thin ice for me, to be honest. I'm debating on keeping them or not. But if I do keep one, it's probably going to be IWMY. I noticed that one does perform better than the others. YMAG and YMAX I'm definitely keeping. And I'm actually pretty excited about LFGY and GPTY. I do like, those type of funds because it's like an ulti, but it's like a sector, focused ulti, right? So it's pretty cool. YBTC, again, crypto exposure for that one. And I love that one as well. But yeah, so these are all weekly pairs. They pay every single Friday. And they do the job. They pay the bills. But I also have Misty. All right, so let me go back to the summary. So anyway, those weekly payers for the month of January, they paid me $1,603. I also own Misty. All right, I own 400 shares of Misty. Misty paid $2.28 for the month of January. That's a total distribution of $912. So again, good money. Also, options premium. I did some options trading. So if I go to the options tab, let me show you what's going on here. Anything in gray I covered previously. So first, let me tell you about this account. This account, I'm using margin. All right, I'm using all of the cash. There's no idle cash, and I'm into the margin. So there's a lot of margin I'm not using. In fact, I'm not even using a lot of margin, period. I'm just using a little, buying a little here and there. I'm letting the dividends pay off the margin, and then I'm buying a little more here and there. But for the margin that's sitting there, I decided to sell a long-term put, all right? I decided to sell a 1-month put for TQQQ. And I sold a put for TQQQ with a 2/28 expiration date. I did this on January 21st, so it was a 30 days till expiration transaction. I chose a strike price of $71, so it was 14% out of the money, so I would consider that safe. But who knows, man? Obviously, today I'm recording this on Monday, and the tariff news came out. So again, I could be assigned at this point on this one, but it is what it is. The premium per share I did get, though, I got $1.80 or $180 for basically, putting up $7,100 in margin. When you sell a put on margin, it just goes as pending and you don't get charged interest on it. I will only get charged interest on the $7,100 once I get assigned, if I get assigned. If I don't get assigned and this expires worthless, then essentially I borrowed this $7,100 for free. And that's the idea behind doing this long put, all right? It's not really necessarily a long put. It's a 1-month put. So I'm going to play it by ear. I started with TQQQ because I already trade TNA in my my other brokerage. So I'm going to trade TQQQ here, or UPRO, of course. I'll do one of the two, and I'm going to play it safe because these are expensive. TQQQ, you can see it's at $83. That's not a cheap stock. So if I'm going to sell a put on this, I gotta play it safe, and the 14% of the money is safe. Again, the stock market's dropping as we speak, so 71 could be in danger. But hey, if I get assigned, then so be it. right? Then worst case scenario, I pay interest on the 7,100. I sell another put for TQQQ, hopefully save my, my cost basis, and then I could sell calls and then get rid of these shares and stop paying interest. And when I sell calls, if I have to sell calls, obviously I'm just going to sell it for whatever cost basis I own. I don't even care about capital appreciation, right? That's not a big deal because, this is a transaction. I'm actually not looking to get assigned. That's the goal, to not get assigned. But we'll see how it plays out. Again, it's something new I'm trying. It will expire this month, and you'll know by the next month's update what exactly happened, all right? So again, I got $180 for that. That's a 24% annualized yield on money that I'm not paying interest on. So fine by me. Misty, I sold a put on January 27th with a 2/21 expiration. Misty now has weekly options, which means they have weekly expiration dates. So you can essentially sell options on Misty on a weekly basis. However, the weekly contracts are not as attractive, so I'm still choosing the monthly expiration dates until they start filling. Filling meaning like there's more interest. Open interest shows more people are more actively trading Misty. So once that happens, I'll probably do, the off-cycle expiration dates, which is the weeklies. The 2/21, that was an already established expiration date. Because as you know, Misty, they expire. They used to expire just monthly, so this was a monthly expiration. So anyway, I sold a put on them for $26. The stock was at $27.77, so 6.37% out of the money. Premium per share, I got $1.34 or $134, and that yielded me 75% on an annualized basis. So that's all I did for options for the month of January, which is not much. But I did make $314, which is more than December at least. So we'll see how that all plays out. And we'll go from there. By the way, I do have the prices. Let me see what TQQQ. It's at $82.72 as of the close Friday. All right. So, but still, the market's going to tank today. So we'll see where that goes. All right. So back to the summary page. Options premium. That's where the 314 came from. So if I add up the total income, which is how much I made on the weeklies for the month, how much I made on Misty for the month, and how much I made on options premium for the month, I made $2,829. And guys, this account, for me, it's not an active account. I know I trade options on it now, but again, you could see it's long-term options plays. I'm selling expiration dates at least 1 month out. I'm not actively trading in this account. I don't go into this account every day. I'll check it once in a while, but it's not an active account, and that's how it's going to be. That's why I bought, all my cash is working. It's working on Misty, it's working on weeklies, and I have to trust those fund managers to make the most money that they can. And that's exactly what they're doing. If I was retired, of course, I'd be mostly doing options myself on this, but I'm not. So since I'm actively working a full-time job, this account is working for me in the meantime. All right, like I said, total income, let's see, $2,829, okay? So based on an account balance of $52,479, which, by the way, it's a little more than last month, I have I'm yielding 65% on an annualized basis, right? Because if I take the total income, I multiply it by 12 and then divide it by the account balance, that's a 65% yield. So that's pretty good. That's not bad. Shares owned, that applies to Misty. My Misty cost basis is 30.21. So obviously it's kind of underwater, but it really doesn't matter as long as I get that distribution. But like I said, I'm going to sell puts and lower my cost basis in the meantime and get that premium. But again, I'll try not to get assigned because I'm dipping into the margin. So keeping in mind, if I do get assigned, I have to pay margin interest, which again, in the end, what is that? It's 12%. So I trust I can make even more than 12%, based on the margin interest. All right. So here's a note. Here's what the car payment is. The other bills totaled $738. That's the car interest rate, 8.74%. Interest for the car for this month, I had to pay $146. Margin interest, I paid $12. And then currently my car loan balance is $19,579. That's where it ended, at least this month. And one of the most important things I want to make sure here is how much I reinvest. So we talked about how much I made. I made 2,829, and then I had to pay 400 plus 738. So I had to pay what, 1138 in bills, right? So if I take the 2829 minus the 1138, I get approximately 1680, 1,680. That's how much I'm left over with. That's how much is reinvested into the account. So for this month, I have reinvested 59% of the money that I made. Last month was 69%. Month before that, 84%. But keep in mind, I'm adding bills. But I added all the bills that I'm going to add, at least for now. I don't think I'm going to add any others. But of course, my mind could change. But I'm thinking that's it. So I'm expecting this reinvested number to go up in due time. Of course, I'm saying this as the tariff news came out and the whole entire stock market is tanking. But I trust it will recover, and I trust I'll keep my reinvested percentage high. So that's the update for the month of January. So the plan is, the payoff calc here, I didn't go through this tab, but this basically just shows if I do just pay the $400, it'll take me till January 2030, which is another 5 years away. But as this reinvested percentage goes up and up and up, what I'm going to do is I'll change this payment to $450, and then I'll change it to $500, and so on and so forth. And that'll obviously pay off the car much earlier. But, as of right now, I'm in no rush because the car interest rate is 8.74%, and I can easily beat that with the money that's in here. So again, I'm borrowing money for the car loan, but instead of paying off the car, I'm using that money to earn more money and pay off the monthly payments for the car. Same thing with margin. I'm using, whatever I am in margin, which is obviously not a lot looking at the interest, right? But again, margin interest is a little higher than the car loan interest. It's around 12%. Hopefully I can get that lowered in due time. But, this was the first month I actually had to pay margin interest. So as of right now, what happens is since all that money is being used, there's no cash in the account. It's just margin available. So when the bills come out, they actually get taken from margin. And then when these payments come through, I get payments weekly and I get payments monthly. Those payments, they get applied to the margin balance. Make sense? And eventually the margin balance would get paid off unless I keep using it. And, days like today, again, I'm recording this as of Monday, February 3rd. Days like today, the market's going to be red. So I'm going to have to buy something. I have to at least buy something. I'm not going to overdo it just in case the market keeps tanking. Plus, again, I'm in margin, so I'm not going to be a complete degenerate. One thing I should probably do for going forward is put margin available balances, even though some of these brokers, man, they have the margin this, margin that. I'm like, what in that? So what can I use? Sometimes it does get confusing, but maybe it's something I'll think about for the next time. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I add margin available or margin being used? Or, I don't know, man. We'll have to think about it. But yeah, so that's the plan, and it's working. Here's some history, right? I started out with just Misty, and then I sold some Misty for a profit, capital gain. And then, I bought back into Misty, and then I've had 400 Misty for quite a while. Right in the beginning, I had 1,000 shares. Actually, I had 1,400, I think. Then I sold some, and then I bought some back, and eventually I'm at 400, and that's probably where I'm going to stay. Although, I did sell a put. That may be a sign. So if so, then I'll have 500. So that's not a big deal either. And again, hopefully the market recovers, and then we can start paying off this margin. Eventually down to zero, and then guess what? I'll use the margin again. I don't care if it's ever really paid off. It's just going to be a cycle. So I'm always going to be borrowing some money. Obviously, I'm borrowing money on the car for, till 2030 or so. But if it makes sense to pay it off at some point earlier, then I will. But that's for now. I'm in no rush. And obviously, things are working pretty smooth. If the market just tanks and tanks and tanks, it's going to get a little harder. But again, I still think it's manageable as long as I don't, screw myself getting buried in margin. Then I'll have to sell some stocks in order to pay off any margin calls if that does happen. All right. So hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, the moral of the story is I made $2,829 for the month of January. I paid, where are the bills? $1,138 in bills, car payment, and other bills, of course, we spoke of. And I'm left with $1,680, which that money gets reinvested back into the account. So I reinvested 59.37% of how much I made for this month. So again, this account, this dividend car account, it pays off the car, of course. This is why this series is called the dividend car account. And it pays off the other bills. I scheduled the other bills. They come right out of the brokerage. And it's been working pretty damn awesome, honestly. And then my other account, I have the mortgage coming out. I did make that video the other day. If you want to check it out, it's called the Retire Now Portfolio Update. But yeah, so basically I have most of the important bills, most of the monthly reoccurring bills coming directly out of the brokerage as I get prepared for early retirement, which could be in 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, maybe more. Who the hell knows, right? But for now, at least, I'm getting help. And these high-income ETFs, the options that I'm trading, they're paying my bills now. They're helping me pay my bills so I can live a decent lifestyle with my family. We're not like living paycheck to paycheck anymore. We're just, we get whatever I get paid for my job, essentially, we can use for whatever, groceries, this and that and the other thing, which, by the way, is not cheap. So it's not like we're living a life of luxury right now. So, we do have a credit card we have to pay off. Actually, we had the dividend car that we speak of needed a decent amount of work when we took it in, which sucked. And then my car, of course, needed a lot of work. So, that was over almost $5,000-6,000. So that kind of set us behind a little bit. But it is what it is, man. That's life. That's how it works. But for now, I'm really happy with this account. But if you have any questions on how this works, feel free to reach out. You could reach out via the comments, or it's easier if you join the Discord channel. The link is on my YouTube profile. And there's actually a broker bill pay channel where we talk about things like this, how to set it up and whatnot. But if you enjoy this content, please hit the like button. It goes a long way. And of course, none of this is financial advice. Clearly, none of this is financial advice because most people in the outside world would say what I'm doing is stupid. So that being said, I'm not a financial advisor. This video is just for fun and entertainment as I share my journey to what I'm doing. Again, this is what best fits my risk tolerance. This is what fits my life best. This is what makes my life a little easier. So this is what I'm doing. Right or wrong, I really don't give a crap, to be honest. But to me, I love it. I love it. It's just awesome. Like when I see the bill come out of this brokerage, like, I don't know, it's just a good feeling. I'm like, it's not out of my checking, right? It's like, you don't feel it. It's like, it's amazing. And then guess what? It gets replenished every Friday. I get paid. It's like payday. Look at all these suckers paying me bank on Friday. It's like payday every Friday. And I want to build these up as much as I can. And of course, at the same time, I want to build up Misty, because Misty's a beast. MSTR is a beast. They're going to own a crap load of Bitcoin forever and ever and ever. And they're always going to be volatile. Maybe not as volatile as they were, but, still, they're going to pay a nice distribution. And until that, if it ever happens that they're just not as volatile and it's not worth holding it, then I'll sell Misty. I really don't care. It doesn't matter. But these weeklies, man, these are the bread and butter. These are what, keep me afloat. So I'm going to build these up and, go from there. So if other fund managers, companies come out with weekly payers, then I'll look into them as well. Again, I don't want to be like, I want to get variety though. I know a lot of these are indexes, at least YieldMax and YMAG, a little different. And then of course, YBTC again is the Bitcoin index. I call it the Bitcoin index right there. So I don't know, a lot of cool funds here. So anyway, guys, that's the update on the dividend car account. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, I make this once a month. I know people ask for it a little more frequently, but I can't. It doesn't make sense. So I do make it once a month at month end. So yeah, If you enjoy this, let me know down below. What do you think of this video? Is this good stuff? You want me to add anything, or good to go? All right, guys. Oh, yeah, if you want to help out the channel further, feel free to share this type of video with your friends and family in case they have a car payment, in case they have a lot of money invested or not. Maybe this is a strategy that they should at least hear about. Not necessarily do, right? Because this is kind of a degenerate play if you think about it. But yeah, if you want to help out this channel, feel free to share this video or other videos with your friends and family. All right, on that note, I'll end it there because I actually got to get to work. And I hope everyone has a great day. Thank you for watching. Later.